All right. Who's got questions?
Howdy.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, Buzz, how proud are you of how the crowd has grown and kind of become the thing to do on campus? Yeah, I remember a few years ago, I could spot your family in the crowd and cheering the loudest in a half-empty stadium, and now it's not just for the Kentucky game, but it's full for quite a few games. How proud are you of that?
Yeah, just I don't want to take any of the credit, but obviously the metamorphosis of what's taking place is special. And I think in a society, in a place where the pace goes so fast, for anything to be the place to be, that's hard to make happen. And I think there is a blue collar approach to this community and to this county in regards to they want you to do well, but I think they respect when they know you're trying hard, when you're trying hard to do the right thing. And I think there is a spirit in Aggie land. And I think without being able to describe it, whether you're from here or not, I think the community and the fans, particularly the students, they pick up on it. And I think that's not to discredit anyone that was here in the beginning, but I think we've evolved and we're probably a little more fundamentally sound, a little better in some ways, maybe a little more talented at certain positions, but the spirit in which we compete, the camaraderie and chemistry of our organization, I think people pick up on that. And so they told me our week is a little strange this week. I honestly can't remember which day it was, but it was this week. Justin Morse told me that Texas A&M has sold more season tickets this year than ever before. And I was like, is that right? And in between the goalposts, more tickets, season tickets than ever before. Obviously, the end zones are for the students. And I was like, man, that's cool. We need to make sure we get the students here because they kind of change the vibe. They change the ambiance. But that also speaks to a lot of hardworking people are spending their money to come watch us play more than ever before. And there was a ticket price increase, and it's still the highest number sold. So I know that you can't add that to a coach's resume, and I don't get an incentive for ticket purchases like a lot of coaches, but yeah, I like it.
And you guys used to have to create your own energy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that was a big deal, and now how nice is that?
Well, we hope that we can still have the appropriate energy that's required for us to be our best and not become dependent on the crowd's energy. But can we have the energy, the prerequisite, the energy we're supposed to have, and then the energy that they bring us? That combination makes us better. And personally, multiple games in February and March last year, I thought the combination was the difference. A lot of 1 and 2 possession games here that led to an undefeated season. Yes, our guys, our staff, they did a lot of work to put ourselves in that position. But I think the environment at Reed was unlike what most of those officials had ever seen in College Station, and for sure different than what the opponent had seen in years past. And I think that is hard to create, but that was what transpired.
How has the team reacted and kind of digested what happened Sunday so that they're ready to go for the games when they count?
I told them this yesterday, and this is probably not the right thing to say publicly either. Am I supposed to say it doesn't count because we lost? Because the opponent was putting it on social media before we ever got on the bus. So it was more important to somebody. And so Is that justifying losing? I don't know. But there were a lot of lessons from it. And so, yes, it didn't count, but it did count. And so we would be foolish not to interpret the lessons in the right way. We had officials here yesterday because the week has been unique. It's the earliest start ever to a college basketball season, ever, since you've been alive, since I've been alive. It's the only time in my 30-year career as a coach that both scrimmages and exhibitions took place in the month of October. So this week has been different in regards to the vibe. We played on Sunday. We got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we're off on Monday. So it's kind of changed. And we reconfigured how we typically have been doing weekends in the fall because we play on Monday. So we can't take Sunday off. We play on Monday. So we played 2 Power 5 teams, both from the Big 12, both who are very similar. They worked together for, I think it was 7 total years. Texas Tech knew everything we were doing. They got the film from Baylor that wasn't supposed to happen, but they knew everything. And so there was a part of me that was like, no, it wasn't supposed to happen like that. But then there was a part of me that was like, I actually think that's good. Because Ohio State's going to get that same tape. Texas A&M-Commerce is going to get that same tape. And so we need to be better on the things that we can control. And we need to realize that in the same way we used to play with an edge, people are playing with an edge against us now. And that doesn't mean we need to lose our edge. It means we need to have more of an edge. And so, yeah, I think all of us processed it in that way that I just described. And that's what happened to us at Myrtle Beach when we got hit in the face in the first game against Murray State, and that bled into Colorado. And we lost 2 games in 24 hours. Well, we got hit in the face on Sunday at North Texas. It didn't count, but it does count only if we take the lessons and apply them over what's about to happen. I think we're going to play 8 games in the next 23 days once we get to Monday. That's an NBA schedule. And only five of those 8 games are not at Reed. So we can't be dependent on the crowd. I've never done that in my career as a head coach. 5 of the games are not going to be at home as a Power 5 head coach in the month of November. So how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Each bite we need to process the right way, including the loss to Texas Tech.
How do you try to, during those exhibition games, I know you want to win them, but I guess, knowing you have a little bit maybe of a leash to say, if they're going through a tough stretch, instead of, a normal game, you might have to call timeout, switch some guys out just to kind of see the guys like, all right, I want you guys to play through this and try to figure it out on the fly. How much do you kind of get to try to do that a little bit more?
Yeah, that's not why we lost. We lost because I didn't have our team prepared. But Jace didn't play against Baylor. I know it was secretive, supposedly. But he did play against North Texas. So I wanted him to recoup some minutes that we didn't get to see against a Power 5 team. And then we had 4 of the guys who started in that game with 2 fouls before the 5-minute mark of the first half. So now some of the planning on, let's see how this looks, it kind of went away because we couldn't try that look because of foul trouble. So it kind of forced us to do some things that we probably wouldn't have done. But there was for sure some minutes, not that were given, but were earned, and let's see how it is executed. And there's not many games coming our way where we can do that again. But that's not the reason why we lost. But for sure, I think that's part of it.
How do you think those guys handled that? situation or that dynamic?
They don't even know that that is a dynamic. You know what I mean? They're players. They want to play. They want to win. They want to do right. But I don't think that they're thinking like, well, these guys I'm playing with, I don't know if I'm going to play with them next week. Like they're not, they don't process it like that. They want to do good. They want their team to do good. And hopefully they're thinking whatever Buzz says we're supposed to do, we're going to do.
How do you not overlook Commerce,
Well,
especially with such a hard?
I didn't know this until I started studying them. They won 3 guarantee games last year in their first ever year in Division One. I would say that that's a Division One record. I'm sure there's not a record of somebody's paying you to play and you won, but in your first year of Division One, to be able to do that is remarkable. And I know Coach has been very successful at Commerce. I'm the only person in my family that didn't go to school there. So I'm very familiar with the program and a lot of people that are in administration there. He's done a really good job. It's hard to go Division Two to Division One and immediately into a conference and have the success that they did last year. Their team last year, relative to personnel, has new players. So we don't know, like we're watching clips from when they were at their previous school. So we're trying to figure out the players. And then we don't know if will they do the exact same thing? And there was a little bit of bad coaching on my part relative to Texas Tech, thinking that there would be a lot of similarities from what the coach did at North Texas. And that's the way I presented it to the team. And that was just fake news. It wasn't what it was. And so I want to be careful in what we talk about to the team on what we think Commerce is going to do strategically, but I want to give them the right information relative to the players on their team. And then I think we have to, better than we did last week, we have to do what we're supposed to do a lot better, regardless of the opponent.
You mentioned you're playing a lot of games early on in the schedule. Does that experience that you have on the team, most of the players have been through 2 SEC championship runs, they're playing games back to back to back. Does that kind of experience really help at the beginning of the season?
I think it's the only way that we could even have a chance to do it. And I know that it sounds good on social media that look who we're playing and finally Buzz is playing a real schedule, and I get all that. But 8 games in 23 days, when 5 of those games involve a plane, that's a lot. And the content and the preparation is a lot. And kind of to her point, regardless of who we play, there's not enough time for our players to digest everything about an opponent because we're about to play again. And we've got to do a really good job as coaches this month on what happened in the last game that we can learn from that translates to the next game, because the next game is happening in 2 days or 3 days or 1 day, right? Like a week from today, we play at Ohio State and we're going to get home at 2:00 in the morning. And then literally 36 hours later, we're on a bus back to the Metroplex. So like, how much can they process from what we did versus Ohio State in preparation for what we're going to do in Dallas, and then get home at 2:00 in the morning, and literally 36 hours later, we're playing another game. And so I think the only way you have a chance is with a lot of experience returning, not just on a scouting report, more so on the physical, mental, and emotional roller coaster you're about to be on. And how can you be your best throughout all of that each day? Because that's going to sway the result regardless of where you play.
And obviously a lot of buzz about Wade and his preseason accolades, but you bring in Bryce Lindsey in the offseason as well. Can you talk about have you noticed if he's picked up anything from being behind Wade and kind of how has he grown from the beginning of the summer to kind of where he's at now in season about to start?
It's a lot. It's a lot to follow. That's why you don't ever see coaches want to take over a good job after a good coach, right? You want to take over a different kind of job, so they're not immediately comparing you. I think Bip's in a hard place. 4's good. 4's real good, maybe. And I'm not talking about what other people are saying he is. I'm talking about what he's done in the 4 semesters he's played here. It's remarkable, the development from, I think he played 8 minutes a game as a freshman, and literally 3 semesters later, he's preseason player of the year. That typically is not what happens with a sub 6 foot guard. We have thought Bip is a very good player with a high IQ from the very first time we've seen him. And this has been ongoing for 2 years. We were recruiting him before he went to IMG, recruiting him before he signed at South Carolina. So the relationship helps. He has had some health issues that have distinctly slowed him down since he's been in College Station that I haven't spoken about and won't speak about. But he has a very high IQ. He's very comfortable in making the right decision. And I think he has a bright future. And I think that 4 has cemented through 2 years the value he is currently and has meant to our program. And in some ways, I don't think that there's a better person to learn from on or off the floor than 4. And that you're actually the same position, there's even more lessons to learn.
All right, anything else?